The door slammed against the cafe wall as Rowan burst inside, soaked from the storm and breathing like he'd run through an entire city. Customers flinched at the sound, but he didn't notice a single face. His eyes locked instantly on the woman behind the counter. The woman he had searched for across 3 years, 3 countries, and every sleepless hour in between. Mara, he whispered to himself, a trembling breath breaking out of him. She glanced up, startled by the sudden noise, her hand stilling around a cup she was drying. Rowan didn't walk toward her. He lunged, stopping only when he was close enough to see the tiny freckle beneath her left eye. That freckle had once been the subject of 100 of his useless poems. He finally exhaled the sentence that had lived in his chest like a wound. I finally found you again. Her brows pulled in cautiously. She held the cup tighter, as if it were a shield. Sir, do we know each other? The floor beneath him seemed to sway. 3 years of searching, begging for leads, chasing shadows. And this was the greeting he earned. It's me, Rowan said. Rowan Hale. Mara. It's me. She blinked twice, polite confusion freezing her features. My name is Claire, she corrected softly. I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong person. His mouth parted but no sound came. Claire. She believed that. She wasn't acting. The blankness was real. He felt it like a blade between the ribs. A customer at the counter cleared his throat, and she turned to ring up his order as if Rowan weren't unraveling 2 steps away. Rowan backed into a table and sat down, unable to feel the chair under him. The storm outside pounded against the windows, but inside, everything went quiet except for the dull thud of his heartbeat. When her shift slowed, she approached him cautiously. You look like you've seen a ghost, she said. You are the ghost, Rowan answered. You vanished. No goodbye, no trace, no body, just gone. I thought. He couldn't finish. Her eyes softened with a sympathy that wasn't aimed at memory, only at the pain she saw. I'm sorry you lost someone, she said gently. Truly, but I'm not her. Rowan leaned forward. You have the same scar. His finger hovered near his own temple. Right there. Claire touched the spot absent-mindedly. This. I woke up with it. Doctor said I probably hit my head in a fall. I don't remember it happening. You don't remember anything, Rowan said, voice low. Because something happened that stole your memories. She stiffened. That's not true. I have a job. Friends. A life here. A life built on nothing but gaps, he said. Have you never felt it? That something is missing right in the center of your days? Her throat bobbed. For a moment her eyes darted. Fear or recognition, or both. But before she could speak, the cafe owner, a square-shouldered man named Grant, stepped beside her. Is everything all right here? Grant asked, his gaze narrowing on Rowan. Rowan rose. Grant, isn't it? You know who she is. I know who she is now, Grant said firmly, and I won't have you upsetting her. I'm not upsetting her, Rowan shot back. I'm telling her the truth. Claire took a small step back, and the movement cut him deeper than her words. Grant ushered her behind the counter, then leaned toward Rowan, voice low but sharp. You need to leave, Grant warned. Walk away. I searched for her for 3 years, Rowan said. I'm not walking anywhere. Grant's jaw worked. Some people disappear for reasons. Let her be. Rowan stared at him. What reasons? Grant didn't answer. His silence was louder than any confession. Rowan left only because staying would have frightened her further. But he didn't go far. He waited outside under the cafe's awning until she stepped out after her shift, umbrella in hand, face tilted to the rain like she was trying to listen to something it was saying. Claire. Mara. Please, Rowan said softly, approaching slowly. Just talk to me for a minute. She hesitated, then nodded once. They walked beneath the awning, the street quiet except for raindrops bursting against pavement. "I don't want to upset you," Rowan said. I just, I need you to hear this without running." She wrapped her hands around her arms. "I'm listening." "You didn't leave me," he said. "You didn't abandon your life. Something happened to you that night. Something violent. I've followed every rumor, every whisper, every abandoned lead, and every trail ended with the same sentence. She's alive, but she doesn't know who she is anymore." Her breath hitched in the air. Rowan stepped closer, but not too close. "Have you ever felt afraid for no reason? Woken up without knowing why your heart is racing? Looked at places that should feel familiar but don't?" Her eyes glossed with tears she seemed to fight. "Every day," she whispered. Rowan's chest pulled tight, not with a cliché, but with the rawness of a truth cutting through denial. "You're Mara," he said. "You're the woman who laughed like she was constantly discovering joy. The woman who promised we'd grow old somewhere quiet. The woman who vanished, and I refused to bury." A tear escaped down her cheek. She wiped it quickly. "I want to believe you," she said, voice trembling. "But I don't remember any of that. It feels like you're telling me someone else's story." "It's your story," Rowan said. "And I'm here to help you remember it." Grant's voice suddenly echoed from behind them. "Enough." They both turned. Grant stood in the doorway, face darkened by rain and something like anger, or fear. "Rowan," Grant said, "if you don't stop, you're going to bring trouble down on all of us." Ian stepped forward. "What kind of trouble?" Grant didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at Claire with a grief that seemed older than their acquaintance. "Some memories," Grant said quietly, "were erased for a reason." Claire froze. Rowan's blood went cold. "Who erased them?" Rowan demanded. "And why?" Grant hesitated, just long enough to confirm Rowan's worst fear. Someone had taken Mara's past. Someone had rearranged her life, and that someone wasn't finished. Rowan took Claire's hand gently. "I'm not letting anyone hurt you again." She didn't pull away. "Not this time." "Please," Rowan said to her, his voice steady with new resolve. "Let me help you uncover what they tried to bury." Claire swallowed, then whispered, "I don't know if I'm ready." "You don't have to be ready," he said. "You just have to let me stay." Behind them, Grant muttered, "You're both in danger now." And for the first time since she'd met him, Claire's fear wasn't of Rowan, but of everything she suddenly realized she didn't know. Claire didn't sleep that night. She sat at the edge of her bed with her knees drawn up, staring at the faint scar near her temple in the bathroom mirror. It wasn't new to her. She'd traced it countless times without thinking. But tonight, it felt like the only proof that Rowan's words weren't madness. Someone had taken something from her. Someone had sculpted her life into a shape that didn't fit. Down the street, Rowan waited in his parked car, refusing to leave the neighborhood. He kept checking the mirrors, scanning for the truck he had seen earlier, the man with the measuring stare. It felt like danger was circling, adjusting its distance, calculating its approach. Around midnight, Claire's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You need to meet me, alone, behind the cafe." She stared at it, breath stuck in her chest. Then she typed Rowan's number. "Are you awake?" He replied instantly. "Of course. What's wrong?" She sent him the screenshot. His reply came fast. "Do not go anywhere alone. I'm coming now." But she couldn't wait. Something inside her, fear, instinct, curiosity, pulled her out the door. She walked through the quiet streets, rain misting around her, heart beating like it was trying to warn her. Behind the cafe, Grant stepped out of the shadows. "Claire," he said softly, "I wasn't sure you'd come." She crossed her arms, wary. "Why did you text me from an unknown number?" Because I couldn't risk Rowan seeing my name. Grant exhaled heavily. He's stirring things he doesn't understand. She stiffened. I'm the one who doesn't understand anything. Grant looked pained. You will, but you're not ready to hear everything yet. She shook her head. You don't get to decide that, not anymore. Before he could answer, Rowan's car screeched to a stop, and he sprinted toward them. Are you out of your mind? Rowan yelled at Grant. You tell her she's in danger and then you lure her out at midnight? I texted her to warn her, Grant shot back. Not to harm her. Then talk, Rowan demanded. Grant looked between them, defeated. Fine, but once I tell you this, there's no going back. He leaned against the wall as if bracing himself. The night she came here, she wasn't just hurt, Grant began. She was unconscious, bruised, terrified in her sleep, and she kept repeating one name over and over. Claire's breath hitched. Rowan felt every muscle in him tighten. Grant looked at Rowan. She kept saying your name. Claire covered her mouth with a trembling hand. My name. Rowan. Why would I? Grant continued. A man dropped her off. Said she'd been through something traumatic. Said her memories were scattered and remembering too much, too quickly, would put her at risk. What man? Rowan asked sharply. Grant hesitated again. Grant. Rowan pressed, voice firm. Say it. A man named Carver. Rowan felt his stomach turn. That name had haunted the edges of his search for years, appearing in whispered warnings, in scraps of rumor, in dead-end reports. Claire frowned. Who is Carver? Rowan answered quietly. Someone who makes people disappear without ever leaving the room. Claire stepped back. Disappear? Why would he be involved with me? Grant looked at her with painful honesty. Because you saw something. Something someone didn't want you remembering. And Carver is the kind of man they call when they want problems erased. Claire felt her knees wobble. Rowan caught her before she fell. I saw something? She whispered. What did I see? Grant shook his head. I don't know. Carver never tells. But he told me one thing before he left. That you were safer if your past stayed dead. Rowan swore under his breath. He wiped her memory. I don't know how much he took, Grant said, but she arrived here with no name, no ID, no phone. She remembered nothing except one thing. Fear. Claire buried her face in her hands. So my whole life is fabricated? Not fabricated, Grant corrected. Rebuilt. Rowan tightened his hold around her shoulders. We're reclaiming it, piece by piece. Claire pulled back, desperate. But why did Rowan's name survive? Why remember only him? Rowan exhaled shakily. Because you trusted me more than anyone. That kind of bond doesn't vanish cleanly. Before any of them could say more, footsteps echoed at the mouth of the alley. 3 men stood there. Not customers, not neighbors. Rowan recognized one of them, the truck man. All 3 men looked straight at Claire. Rowan stepped in front of her like a shield. Claire's hands clutched the back of his jacket, her breath shaking. The lead man spoke first. We need the girl. Grant moved beside. Rowan. You're not taking her. The man smirked. Grant, you sheltered a runaway. That makes you part of the mess. Runaway, Rowan spat. She was dumped here, unconscious. Not my problem, the man interrupted. Our orders are simple. Retrieve the girl before memories show up where they shouldn't. Claire's body trembled. Rowan felt it against his back. Grant whispered, We need to stall. Rowan whispered back, No, we need to run. The lead man took one slow step forward. Claire, he said, using the name like a weapon. You've been living on borrowed time. Let's not make this harder. Rowan grabbed Claire's hand. Go. They bolted through the opposite end of the alley as the men shouted and gave chase. Rain hammered against the pavement. Claire's breath came out ragged. Rowan kept his grip firm, weaving them between buildings, cutting across backyards, pulling her behind dumpsters and fences. Rowan, Rowan, I can't, she panted. Yes, you can, he said. We're getting out of this. Footsteps pounded behind them. The men were gaining. Rowan dragged her around another corner and froze. The truck was waiting there. Its headlights flared on, bright white and merciless. Claire gasped and stumbled back. Rowan stepped in front of her again. The truck door opened. A man stepped out. Not the truck man. Someone older. Someone colder. Claire whispered, voice cracking. Rowan. I think I've seen him before. Her memory flickered, too faint to grasp, too sharp to ignore. Rowan didn't blink. Carver. Carver smiled like someone greeting an old friend he had never liked. Hello, Mara. Claire went still. Her name, her real name, wrapped around her like a trap snapping shut. Rowan felt her shaking behind him, and he realized that whatever truth they'd uncovered so far, it was only the beginning. Carver stepped toward them with the calmness of someone who always arrived at the end of the story and never the beginning. Rain collected on his coat, sliding off in thin lines. Claire felt her breath scatter inside her chest, each inhale shallow and uncertain. Rowan tightened his stance. Don't come closer. Carver stopped, not out of obedience but out of control. He examined Rowan like he was an insignificant character speaking out of turn. You've made quite a mess, Carver said. Tracking her, asking questions, stirring dust that was meant to settle. She's not dust, Rowan snapped. She's a person, and you stole her life. Carver tilted his head, amused. Stole? No, I relocated her. I kept her alive. The men who wanted her gone were not patient men. You should be grateful I intervened. Claire felt the blood drain from her face. Who wanted me gone? She asked, voice thin but steady. Carver's gaze slid to her, and for the first time, his expression softened with something like pity, though even that felt manufactured. It's better for you not to know. Not anymore, she said. I deserve to know what happened to me. He took a slow breath. You saw something you shouldn't have. Something powerful men couldn't afford to let exist. My job was to help them erase the problem. Rowan stepped forward. She is not a problem. Carver lifted a brow. To you, but to them? She was a liability with a heartbeat. Claire's knees weakened, and Rowan steadied her with a hand behind her back. What did I see? She whispered. Carver answered with silence. Rowan barked. Say it. Carver gestured lazily toward the shadows behind him. The two men who had chased them stepped out, blocking every exit. You saw a murder, Carver said calmly. You walked into the wrong room at the wrong time. You recognized the wrong face, and you said the wrong words. After that, your life became a countdown. Claire's breath broke on the way out. Her fingers clutching Rowan's jacket trembled uncontrollably. I don't remember, she whispered. Exactly, Carver said, because I removed what would get you killed. I gave you new spaces to fill, a new town, a new name, a new chance. You wiped me clean, she murmured. I saved you, Carver corrected. But you couldn't leave it alone. You held onto a thread. His name. Carver tipped his chin toward Rowan. That attachment became the flaw in the entire redesign. Rowan stepped in front of Claire fully now. You're not taking her anywhere. Carver sighed. You misunderstand the situation. I don't want to take her. I want her quiet. Alive, ideally. But quiet. Quiet? Rowan repeated. She's not staying silent anymore. One of the men behind Carver moved, reaching inside his coat. Rowan pushed Claire behind him. Carver, call them off. You don't make demands here, Carver replied. It's over, Rowan said. You've been exposed. Grant talked. Others will too. And someone, Whoever ordered her removal will fall with you. Carver's eyes sharpened. His calm cracked for the first time. You think this town matters? Carver spat. You think a few frightened witnesses can pull down men who shape entire cities? Men who decide which stories get told and which stories get buried? Yes, Rowan said, his voice unwavering. Because it starts with one person refusing to disappear. Claire stepped out from behind Rowan, her fears shifting into something steadier, harder. You said I saw something. You said I recognized a face. But you never said whose. Carver studied her as if trying to decide whether to admire her bravery or punish it. You saw the man who hired me, Carver said finally. That's all you need to know. No, Claire insisted. Say his name. Carver hesitated. Rowan saw it too, the slightest flicker. Then Carver said, low and cutting. His name was Marcus Vero. Rowan felt the shock wash over him. Marcus Vero, the businessman who dominated the local news, donated to hospitals, shook hands with governors, a man who built public goodwill like a fortress. Claire repeated the name under her breath. Marcus Vero. And something inside her, a locked door, creaked. She saw flashes, a bright office, an argument, Marcus shouting, a body collapsing in front of her. She saw herself stumble back, heard Marcus say, "No one will believe you," right before two men grabbed her. Her breath hitched on a memory finally fighting its way through. "I saw him," she said, trembling. "I saw him kill someone." Rowan steadied her, murmuring, "I've got you. You're not alone." Carver looked annoyed. "There it is. The memory I tried to bury. And now that it's resurfaced, you've put yourself back on the list." Rowan stepped forward. "Touch her, and you'll never walk away from this." "Oh, Rowan," Carver said with a dry chuckle. "I don't threaten. I conclude." Before he could signal his men, red and blue lights exploded at the end of the street. Police cars, multiple. Carver's eyes flashed with fury. Grant emerged behind the officers, breathless from the sprint. "I'm not protecting your secrets anymore," he shouted at Carver. "She deserves her life back." Carver snarled as officers approached. The two men behind him tried to flee, but were tackled. Carver stayed still, calculating his angle, but officers surrounded him before he could pivot. "You have no idea who you're interfering with," Carver muttered. One officer replied coldly, "We're interfering with you." Carver was cuffed and shoved into a squad car. Claire felt her breath collapse into relief and terror and exhaustion all at once. Rowan held her, arms steady around her, grounding her trembling limbs. "It's over," he whispered. Claire shook her head. "No, it's starting." She looked at him, really looked, and for the first time he saw a spark in her eyes that he recognized. "Mara?" he whispered. She nodded slowly. "I remember you. Not everything. Not all at once. But enough." He closed his eyes, overwhelmed. "You came back to me," he breathed. "I think I was always trying to," she said softly, "even when I didn't know my own name." Rowan held her like someone who had searched through entire worlds for a single heartbeat. As the police drove Carver away and Grant gave his statement, Rowan and Mara stood under the street lamp, rain easing into a thin mist around them. "What happens now?" she asked. "We build again," Rowan said. "This time together." She took his hand. "I want my life back. Every stolen part. And you'll get it," he promised. They didn't walk away from the night. They walked forward into it, step by step, both knowing the road ahead would be long, but it would be theirs. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more powerful emotional stories, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps these stories reach more people who love heartfelt drama just like you. Thank you for watching.